equation and put it in standard form. How do I, this is in vertex form right now. How do I get from vertex to standard? Okay, so I'm going to subtract the 3. What else am I going to have to do?
You're going to box method or foil.
Okay, yes, yeah, everything I'm hearing there is right. I need to simplify this.
You should put the 3 to the other side.
Yeah, I will. Just waiting for the rest of the class to join me.
Sorry, I was dying.
Okay, so we need to simplify this. Now, a lot of you want to move the 3 to the other side right away. That's fine if you do. I usually wait to the end just because it kind of clutters things up over there. But it doesn't matter to me whether you move it now or move it later. The first thing I need to worry about is this, because by order of operations, I need to do my exponent first. So this is how to get it into standard form.
Why is this so hard?
I'm going to write this out. It's not hard. Time consuming maybe, but not hard. Negative 2/3 x minus 3 x minus 3. Whoops. And then I'm going to FOIL these two together. Okay, you could use the box method too if you want to, so I don't care, box or FOIL. But you want to do x minus 3 times x minus 3. That's going to come out to be, whoops, parentheses the wrong way. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Okay, so when I simplify, when I put these two together.
Can I go
Can I get at the door?
Talking about that door?
Sure, Lucas, you can go leave and open the door for him. I got you, Mrs. Steve.
Steve. Why didn't you?
Thomas, is this relevant?
I think he was onto something when he was talking about that life stuff.
Oh, I was gonna, never mind.
Something about this, that's fine.
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Next up, what do I do now?
Minus 3.
I still wouldn't yet. Again, it wouldn't hurt if you did.
You could distribute the 2/3.
Yeah, let's distribute the negative 2/3. This would be negative 2/3 x squared. Negative 2/3 times negative 6. You can type that into your calculator as negative 2 divided by 3 times 6. Should come out to be 4. Positive 4 because they're both negative. And then negative 2/3 times 9 is going to be negative 6. And now at this point, this is where I would move the 3 over. Again, wouldn't hurt you to do it before now, but just kind of sits over there until you're ready for it anyway. So negative 2/3 x squared plus 4x, and negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. Okay? So that's converting into standard form. Now, you're going to have to write some of that down. Okay? This is not something that you can just look at and get the answer.
Why does it? Why?
Okay.
You should have told us that at the beginning.
My point was, some of you may be able to skip some of those steps in between. Like, you probably don't have to write this part out, okay? I do that when I'm explaining it to you so you can see what I'm doing, but a lot of you are going to be able to kind of combine some of these steps. So don't let the fact that this looks so huge intimidate you. Okay, so final answer for that one, this is for my standard form on number 14, would be y equals negative 2/3 x squared plus 4x minus 9. Okay, so y equals negative 2/3 x squared plus 4x minus 9. All right, where do I get the vertex from?
The vertex formula.
Okay, it's in vertex form. When I started here, this was in vertex form. So to find the vertex, I should be able to just kind of line it up with the formula for vertex form. So here's the formula. Here's my equation. What's my h value? Trying to do a question, sorry. Go ahead, question.
What equations are you going to give us on the test?
I'll put them up again in a minute, but pretty much everything you're going to need. So like
Okay.
vertex form will be up there.
Okay. Wait, do you want like how it is written out now, or do you want it like how it would be before you plug it into the
Right. I want what the actual number for h would be. So the actual number for h would just be 3 because this minus sign is part of the equation. Okay, so my h is just 3. What's my k?
-3.
Yeah, because it looks like a positive 3, but remember this is supposed to be a minus. So if it's a plus, that means the number that got plugged in must have been negative. Okay, so my k value is -3. And that means my vertex, remember for your vertex you do h and then k, so it would be 3, -3. All right, axis of symmetry should be super easy. What's axis of symmetry?
X equals
X equals which number?
3.
Yeah, it's the h value from the vertex. Okay, so when I ask you for axis of symmetry, you're always looking back at the vertex, and you're just going to write x equals whatever h is, whatever the first number would be from your vertex. Okay? Both of these next two things, direction of opening and whether it's wide or skinny, go by your a value. Okay? So looking at this equation, it doesn't matter whether you look at this one or this one. What's my a value? -2/3, right? That's my a. So is that going to open up or down?
That's down because
Why?
it's negative.
It's negative, so it'd be down.
Thanks for telling that. That's true.
Okay. And wide or skinny?
Why?
Good.
7.
2/3. Now, don't pay attention to the fact that it's negative at this point. The negative tells you whether it opens up or down, and then you ignore it after that. Okay, so you look at the negative to decide this, and then ignore it. 2/3. Is that going to grow faster or slower than a regular parabola?
That's
It's going to grow
Slower.
slower, like it's going to grow upwards slower, which is going to make it look wider, right? Because it's not growing up as fast, so it's going to kind of spread outward. So anytime your value here is less than 1, oh, I'm writing the wrong thing. Anytime your value is less than 1, it's going to be wide, okay? If your value is greater than 1, like a whole number, it's going to be skinny because it's growing that many times faster than a regular parabola. Okay, all three of these next pieces, you want to be looking at your equation in standard form. Okay, so that means I'm looking at this one that I just came up with. So how do I find the discriminant?
That would be b squared minus 4 times a times c.
You're right. B squared minus 4ac is my discriminant. Whoops, sorry. I couldn't see that. Okay, so my discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. In my equation up here, my b value is 4. So I'm going to do 4 squared minus 4 times -2/3 times -9. Oh, let's see. I think it's going to come out negative. Anyone have it typed in already? -4. I got -8.
I guess.
Okay.
I suppose.
Were you able to get -8, those of you who typed it in? I would practice typing it in right now, okay? Because on your test tomorrow, you're not going to have me sitting in front of you doing all the calculations for you. So you're going to want to make sure you know how to type these in. Okay. So my discriminant is equal to -8. What does that tell me about my number of roots, which is my next column here?
0 roots.
Yeah, it's negative, so that'd be 0 roots. And so if it has 0 roots, how many x-intercepts is it going to have? It's not going to have any, yep, so I don't have to do any work for that. Okay, so if it has no roots, x-intercepts are really the same as roots. I purposely asked that question differently so you could get used to that, like that they're the same thing. Okay, but roots and x-intercepts are really the same thing. So if I just found that I have no roots, I have no way to find what the x-intercepts would be. If I did find that I had roots, what would I use to find the x-intercepts?
Protractor.
No. Say it again, Jake.
How many points are in the x-intercept?
Okay, so that's the discriminant found for me how many. How would I find what they actually are? Yeah, you would want to go back and use the whole quadratic formula. Okay, so that's how you're going to find x-intercepts if you have x-intercepts to find. Cool?
For the wide and skinny, what'd you say if the...
If this is bigger than 1, it's going to be skinny. And if it's less than 1, it'll be wide. So like this is a fraction, so fractions are always going to be wide. Something like 2 or 5, or even if it were negative 2, that would still be skinny because remember you ignore the negative, so you would just be looking at the 2. Good? Good on that one?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try one of the other ones. So take a look at 10, 12, 13, and 15. Let's pick one of those.
11.